how to change the name, right? So this A, B, C, D, we cannot change the name. Rows 1, 2, 3, we can't. But for the sales itself, like for example, I have the data on here, and this is about, let's say I'm going to say 8.0, let's say 5.2. Okay, and I want to change the name to interest rates, right? Interest rates. Now I like to have no spaces when you name something, but you could have spaces if you like to. Let's try again. Interest rates. Okay, and then hit enter, and then we have the name change, right? Now how about I have a group of data. I can just give the name to the group too. So data could be, let's say 100s, 200s. Okay, so increment by hundreds up to 1000s. So I'm going to say this is your loan amount, right? So let me do again. Loaned amount. Okay, and do enter. So I just gave the name to the group. So if I highlight a group, I get the name back. But if I select one, I'm not going to see the name. Now, how would you get to, like if you have a lot of data going on, how would you know that you have the name on each sales like that? Because when you click on this, you will never know, right? So we have the tools name manager that you can use to pull the name. So I happen to create a tab, okay, under CSC 110. So let me show you how to do that and add the name manager on it. So let me show you first how to do this. You can go to right click on the ribbons here and customize the ribbon. So this is called ribbon, right? The tab and the ribbons here. Now if you want to create a new tab, just new tab, right? So the new tab, you can also rename it. I can rename to my name, okay? So I have the tab under my name. Now the quick tools that you have here, not all of them here are the commands here. Some of them you may never seen it, just like device, the name manager. There are a lot of them here, right? You can just go to all commands. If you go to all commands, of course you never seen those. Like some of the commands that's being hidden, when you need it, you can actually create your own ribbons and put them, right? Then you can just quickly access to them, right? 3D rotations, 5-point stars. Now I need to create a group, right? Let me rename the group to cool tools. Okay. All right, and then I need to add to the group, right? So again, you can also go to the name manager that we're about to use. It should be under, it's going to be alphabetically ordered. So MN name manager right there, right? You can add to the group, right? So we have them. Now click OK. Then you should be able to see it, the new ribbons that you make. You can make your own group, right? Like those clipboard fonts, those are the group, right? Now I only have one group, right? Now coming back, we talk about the name here, and the question is, how would we know that in one spreadsheet how many names that we are use? We can click on name manager. See, that is actually have ent that I use it where sheet 1 A1. See that scope is workbook, the values, right? So if I really go back to that, that's the value as, and the name manager is ent, right, on sheet 1 A1. That makes sense? That's how you read it too. Now next thing is, in order to use Excel, we know that Excel is good in calculating. We can write a formula for it. So let's see if I wanted to calculate the interest rates, right, for the loan amount. So I'm going to say, whenever you write the formula, you want to put equals, right? It's just like in math expressions. And I have the interest rate, which is my A1, right? So I'm going to multiply to D1, that's my loan amount, right? Now, of course, it's 5.2 times 100 is going to be 520. So you might want to change this to a percentage, right? Then it's going to be 0.052, right? So that's going to be the interest rate, about 5 cents, right? If you want to change this to, you can format this to a dollar amount, right? About 5 cents, right? So now this one you can increasing the decimal places by using this increase decimals. You can reduce too by using decrease. Now we know that if we're dragging this down, what happens? It's going to repeat, like for example, if I have ent, I am dragging it down, it's going to say ent, right? But what happens if I use a formula? I say equals to h1. That means it's going to copy the values from h1, right? But the formula is still h1, right? Now if I drag this down, what happens? It's going to be h2, h3, h4. Make sense? Now if I say a1, what's going to do? This formula pretty much just copy the values from a1. So I should get 0.052%. Now if I drag this down, what happens? Can you guys tell me? What? You can see a bunch of zero because it's going to copy A2, which is empty, right? When they're empty, it's going to be 0, correct? Now, what happens if I drag this down then? It should copy the formula, right? A1, A2, correct? So it's going to be A2 times D2, which is 0 times 200. It's going to be empty, 0. Make sense? So if I want to do the interest rates, which always the same rates, what should I fix this? Should I keep dragging this whole thing down too?
You could either do that or you could set the formula up to lock A1 as the only...
Yes. You can lock this by putting the dollar signs. When you put a dollar sign in front of A, it's going to fix the columns. But now we're dragging down, it should fix the rows, right? So to fix the row, we know columns represented by the alphabets, right? and numbers represent the rows. So we want to fix the rows because it's still in A, right? So, but we want it to multiply to A1s. So it's fixed A1, 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 right? And D, we still want it to vary because of the amount of the lowest difference, right? So that's how we manipulate with Excels, right? To fix or lock, just put the dollar sign in front of numbers. That means you lock the rows, right? If you put in front of the alphabets, that means you lock the columns. And why do we need that? For example, if I want to copy A1, but when I want to drag to the right, if I don't fix the column, it's always going to be 0, correct? Now if I want to make sure when I drag to the right it's going to be fixed, I put the dollars in front of the columns now because I'm dragging to the right, correct? Now if I want to be fixed when I drag down to, how do I do that? Then I have to put the dollars in both in front of the letters and numbers, right? Then it's going to fix both rows and columns. So they're all going to be from A1. Okay, let me save the file. You can save the file on your OneDrive. Then you can access it through the cloud. You can also share like we used to do and present just like Word documents. Yeah, you will need to have an account with OneDrive and sign in to save the file on there. All right, so come back to this. All right, so what's next? So we're going to show you how to create the list, okay? The list. So I making a small list like that and that cat, and I want to make a list. Like you're going to have, for example, you may have a lot of computer languages like a list, right? I want to create a list, right? So, but this is practice first. So come back to this. We go to under data validation, and you can say allow any values, right? List, there you go, right? And then you can pick the source. This can be your source, enter. Click OK. I just make a list. See that? So you just make a list. So let's see if I want to make a list of languages that I want to do comparison, right? So I can go to data validation again and make a list, and this is the range of my list. Enter, click OK. I get a list. And of course I can just name my list. This is like language 1, right? If I want to compare the second one, I can just do this, is copy the list and name it to language 2, right? GUAGE 2, right? And then if I want to plot a chart to compare between among languages like that, during the year, right? Then I can do so.